Call it a brief peace amid chaos, but Iraqi fans gathered in Baghdad to attend a soccer match on the day when at least 4 anti-government protesters were killed. Huge crowds of Iraqi soccer fans watched their national team beat Iran 2-1 chants of Iran, Iran, we step on you. Now we went from the crowds. These are the chants that went from the crowds gathered in Baghdad's Tahrir Square at the final whistle as fireworks were set off in celebration. Remember, this area in the capital has been the main camp for protesters. Police pushed the protesters back to their main camp in central Baghdad, but demonstrations resumed at the same spot later in the day. The violence shattered 2 days of relative calm in Baghdad after weeks of bloody unrest that have killed more than 300 Iraqis. This when politicians are grappling with the biggest challenge in years to their grip on power.
والله مباراة كلها جيدة والمنتخب العراقي قدم مباراة جيدة وللمنتخب الإيراني إن شاء الله الفوز للمنتخب العراقي وهذا أهم دافع أنه يوحد الشعب العراقي إن شاء الله يا رب الموفقية أنه وهذا الشعب المظلوم إن شاء الله يفرح. يعني إحنا ما عندنا غير بس المنتخب هو اللي يعني شلون دافع عنا للفرحة والابتسامة والتوحد بين طوائف العراق كله.
And Wion's West Asia Bureau Chief Daniele Pagani is joining us live for the latest on this. And well, Daniele, the soccer match apart, the protesters have so far rejected the government's proposals for economic and constitutional reforms and are calling for the entire political leadership to resign. Is that something that's going to stay?
It's an option that is becoming more and more real by the week. Why do I say so? We are witnessing the major Shia authorities of Iraq, and in particularly the Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, who is, I would say, the most important Shia authority of the country, a man who has an enormous follow within the 60% of the country. He is currently in Tahrir Square. He is backing supporters, and he has defined them the only dignity that Iraq has in order to come out of the impasse, the political impasse. So this is a struggle that promises to go on for a long time. This is not just a small outburst. Protesters have been taking the street for 1 month now. 319 people have been killed brutally by security forces and Shia militias, but they are not going away. And they know that the strategy that the Iraqi government is trying to put out right now is the one of waiting and waiting and waiting and wasting their times in order to force them to go back to their houses. But this is not working. There has been a moment of peace, as you correctly said, after the match Iran and Iraq played, one of the symbols of the rivalry between the two countries. But despite that, protesters have gone back to the streets and they are willing to remain there for as long as it takes. They don't have a job, they don't have a future, so there is not much more than they can actually do, especially the young generations of Iraq.
All right, Daniele, we'll leave it at that for the moment. Thanks very much indeed for joining us with the latest there.